And good Wednesday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and welcome to official hump day as we begin. 70 as you're waking up. We'll get to a high of about 92. So temperatures will rise. It will be a warm day, and the weird stuff in the sky will be sunshine. Glad to have that. Rain chances coming back this weekend. We'll talk about that in a few moments as we get your day ready for everything going on. How are you? We certainly hope that you're having a great day so far as you begin it. We've got a lot of headlines that are going on in and around the community that we're going to tell you about and what's happening nationally as well as we kind of track everything that is happening. One of the big things this morning to keep in mind as you're planning your day to leave home, keep in mind we do have fog. And let's go to radar this morning and take a look at this. We've got a huge fog advisory as we go to Marine Honda radar here, and we'll see. And they've just lifted that for Lauderdale County. We were under it. We could have some light fog through 9, but they just lifted this. Still in effect for York, Demopolis, these areas here, and this little bit here just north of West Point, right in this Amory area, across Houston, Mississippi, over to Water Valley. Tuscaloosa getting a lot, in Anniston, Alabama this morning. So we do have a spot down here at the very southwest corner, southwest of Hattiesburg, with some fog as well. That just happened. I looked at it 2 minutes ago before we went live. How quick things can change with the weather, isn't it? But a nice day is planned. By all means, we want you to have a very careful day, no matter where you go and what you do. Good morning to Mary Godot. How are you? Also, we see Barbara Vick is up, Roy Ellis, Anita Humphreys. Glad to have you here from the House Community. Brian Guest watching from Philadelphia. Becky Vickers is up as well. Let's start with things that we know that are going on locally in our areas. We start with a wreck that happened due north of us, Highway 21. As we let me push a button here, as I usually forget to do all this. We go to sammedia.network to read the story of Highway 21. It claimed a life yesterday. This would be a little after lunch, right around 12:30, just to the west of Sugarlock is where this wreck would happen at the intersection of Pintucky Road. Looks to be that of a head-on collision, and a 20-year-old female lost her life during this wreck. We pass along condolences. She was from the Macon, Mississippi area. We do know that. How sad it is for something like that to happen in our community, as well as even closer to here, Lauderdale, Mississippi. As we mentioned yesterday, as we were just starting this, that a wreck had happened near the Cefco. As the day wore on and as emergency officials left and had the scene cleared, the person that was struck by an automobile would be rushed to a local hospital. That person would later die. We have not released the name, or the name has not been released yet. I think some have. A 32-year-old male, and it turns out had dropped his cell phone in the middle of the highway and turned around to get it when he was struck by a vehicle. Unavoidable. Horror on both sides of this as we pray for those involved in this, of those who were driving, and the family of the man that lost his life. Sad, sad, sad. And we'll post the name a little bit later on today, but at this point, I want to make absolutely sure that everybody in the family is aware of that. Were you, I guess you would call that South Frontage Road, near Crossroads, anywhere there late yesterday afternoon after 5 o'clock? Well, traffic was held up. Why? As we take a look here, here you go. This is what was causing the commotion. I think a truck driver got kind of confused as to where he was, and we'll pull this up where you can see a little bit better there. It's huge. Some type of tank that they were carrying there. And again, had to be directed to get back to the interstate. Traffic was backed up for quite a while. Slowed everybody down a little bit. Hope you didn't get caught up in that. And then another tragedy yesterday, and we call this tragedy, but a good outcome. No one was home, and at the end, firefighters were able to save the puppy dog that was inside the house. As we learned here, as we pull this up, Stonebriar. This is the subdivision. As we take a look at this, you get into here. This is going to be in the Clarkdale community. A home caught fire, and we're under an assumption, of course, this is under investigation, that a lightning strike may have struck the home. We don't know that for sure, but we're assuming that at this point. We'll see what we can find out from fire officials as the investigation continues. But at the end of the day, a family lost their home. It's awful to lose everything you own when a fire like this. The home is totally destroyed. We think of them as well. Maybe they're friends, neighbors of yours. Do what you can to help during these situations when things like this happen. Good morning there, Donna. Good to see you there. Roseanne, watching from Las Vegas, Nevada. Never been there in my life. Always wanted to go. That looks like that'd be a lot of fun to go out there. As we look at the Meridian Police Department, they've made charges this morning as we pull this up. They've arrested 2 people as we look at this. McLemore is charged with attempted capital murder. Joshua McLemore. This goes back to August the 17th in the 1600 block of 36th Street, if you'll remember that. We also have another gentleman that has the exact same charges. As we look at this, Mr. Campbell. He's also been arrested by the Meridian Police Department and charged with the same crime. A lot going on there. Another thing that we wanted to mention here, we got this last night, later on, as the Neshoba County Sheriff's Department has been busy. That they have as we pull up and we go back to Sam Media to show you this. A wanted man has been arrested. As we pull this up, we'll see that Johnny Hernandez has been arrested. Now, he originally had a drug charge against him, a warrant. They had a roadblock up, sped through it. Officers were nearly hit. A few days later, 16 days later, as they searched for him, they were still looking for this guy. They got a report of some stolen checks being cashed. They were looking for the vehicle. They spotted it, and guess who was driving it? He was captured and taken into custody. That's in Neshoba County. Good job, well done by the deputies there. And again, no one was hurt in that. As we also skim down other things that have been going on in the community, we wanted to bring this up as we go back over, and we'll look at this story as well. This is coming to us from just west of here, Newton County, as we pull this up this morning. An officer has been involved in a shooting. Now, we don't know a whole lot as I spoke to officials of what they could and couldn't say. This all goes back when a shooting happens, the MBI, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, takes over, and pretty much they have to wait for the outcome of this to speak on it. Again, we can say that no officer was hurt. This happened in the Lawrence community just west of Newton, Mississippi. It happened sometime around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. As soon as details can be given out on this, we will come back to this story and talk more about it. That's where we are at this point. Did anybody get wet yesterday? Boy, and I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at this, but we really got in some interesting pictures as we bring this up. And let's just stare at a few of these as they came about. Here's one with the clouds. And as you look at this, let's zoom in a little bit closer on that. Look at that. Now, as we come across here, this is going to be under the underpass going up toward Walmart. This would be coming out of where Verizon is. There's Cookout. Look at those clouds. And we got another one here. I think this is off of 22nd Avenue. And I'm not sure if the picture from the hospital is in here. I may have to go back and find that. Here's a look at the airport. Look how wicked that looks as clouds moved in. Yeah, I'm sure that, let me see if I can find that real quick, because it truly was a scary little picture there of what we had coming in from Anderson's Hospital. Let me see if I can scan down and find that, where the lightning struck the ground. I don't know if y'all saw that or not. That was a very serious one. Here it is. Let's look at this. This is from, I want to say, the second floor of Anderson's Hospital. Look at that. Lightning striking off in the distance there. Serious, isn't it? Now, at no time yesterday afternoon did we get a warning, but as we hinted just a moment ago, it could be quite possible as we see that lightning strike, this being in the vicinity of the Clarkdale community. It was numerous things struck yesterday, one of the biggest lightning storms I've seen in quite some time. You most likely encountered that if you were out yesterday. Always remember, stay away from those trees and things that can hurt you. It's deadly. We don't want anybody hurt. We go to Clark County for our next story, and we look at Clark County Hot Topics as a fire broke out in Pachuta. As we go there, at least 5 departments were called in to help battle a blaze there. A lot of smoke there. I don't believe anybody was hurt. The fire departments were all busy. That's without a fact, as they were here in Lauderdale County. I want to say they were out in the Stonebriar community, the volunteer fire departments, at least 4+ hours. And again, I tip my hat to those that do that, who give their time They make absolutely nothing. They give their time, their gas money to go help folks out in their community. A big thank you to y'all. As we also look to Clark County, wanted by the police. As we look back here to Clark County Hot Topics, the Clark County Sheriff's Department has put out a bolo, and they're looking for Rashonda Tillman. She's 33 years old, and she is wanted for false ID obtaining goods. If you've seen her, contact the Clark County Sheriff's Department. They would appreciate that. Things like that happen. As we look around of what's going on, the National Guard has been activated in the state of Mississippi. How serious is it? There's no drinking water in Jackson, Mississippi. It's all bad from these floodwaters. Tate has activated the National Guard. They're going to be on hand to help with this. Now, they've already had tankers coming in, and they're urging people to come when these tankers arrive with a bucket. And basically, what does the tankers do? Now, that's going to provide water for your bathrooms and whatnots. They're going to have different areas there where they'll be set up handing out drinking water. Swimming pools are great for that. Just a little reminder of that. It's going to be a long, hard road, and they do not have a deadline at this point as to how long this water crisis will go on in Jackson. Flooding was horrible. And we also still seeing flooding. The Enterprise area, roads, as all this runs down and creeks and rivers still overflow. Although it hasn't rained that I'm aware of heavy in the last 5-6 hours. Yesterday afternoon, those showers that came through, that makes more rise. It's just a mess. Hopefully, we're in for some sunshine for the next couple of days, and we'll look at the forecast in a moment. But the weekend is going to bring back more rain, so we do hope all this will run down some before our next round of rain rolls in. We look over to Brandon. The police chief there, Brandon, is going to be stepping down at the end of September. So if you're a police chief wanting to switch places, you might want to put in your application over there. Looking for a new one in Brandon, Mississippi is what they're doing. We go to Gulfport. This is so sad. And again, I'm not talking about far-off places. I'm talking about Mississippi. I happen to like it. I've been here all my life. We look to Gulfport, a man trying to make a living. And what's unique about this is this man had overcome so much. He had kidney disease. He was on dialysis, and he had just gotten a transplant. He could have been on workers' comp, staying at home, not doing anything, but he chose to work. He had started a lawn care business, was out cutting someone's grass. He had just finished and was blowing it off. You've seen those backpacks, and he was blowing it off. What happened? Drive-by shooting. Someone come down and shot him down. No reason given. He was 47 years old, trying to earn a living. He did make it to the homeowner's front door and was able to make it there before he passed away. He died at the scene. This is Mississippi, y'all. Gulfport is where that took place yesterday. Just so sad. Happened on, actually it was Monday night when that went down. I want to make sure I said that correctly. Awful, awful. We do have a man in Mississippi that's facing 15 years in jail. Why? He pled guilty to armed carjacking in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm actually shocked that they put that big of a sentence on that. I don't think they do that in other states. He's 21 years old. Anthony Lee Holder has been charged and has been sentenced to 15 years. Now, as we all know, sometimes early good behavior, he may not spend there that long, but that's what's been sentenced to him. Another thing that is happening, I haven't bought a personalized license plate in years. It's been quite some time. But you can do that. Now the big thing that they offer in the state of Mississippi is a blackout tag. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? It's black with white writing on it. And, well, it turns out there's some fake ones floating around the state of Mississippi. Can't do that. You got to go buy the actual thing. So that's what's out there. Law enforcement urging you to do that, or, well, they'll hit you with something else. Another ticket, so to speak. We look at Birmingham, Alabama, another sad case of a young mother, 28 years old. I do believe she was pregnant at the time, found dead in her car while it was idling. And as you guess, you can see the writing on the wall before I get to the end of the story. What happened? Domestic dispute in some shape, form, or way. Her boyfriend is accused of doing that. He has not been captured as Birmingham police look for him. What leads to arguments that does this? It makes no sense to me. But then again, we don't think like a criminal, do we? Of someone that would, I don't know whether it's snapping or if it's just in them. Here's good news. It's taken a while. After 13 years, do y'all remember this as we go back to 2008, 2009 school year, University of Alabama, where several women were raped. Anybody remember this? They caught the guy 13 years later. You know where he was? Mexico. He's been sent back to Tuscaloosa to face a judge. Hopefully he'll get his sentencing, get what's due, what's coming to him. I'm actually shocked after that long they caught somebody. A Birmingham police officer has been sentenced, and he got a lot more than I thought he would. What did he do? As we mentioned just a moment ago, is domestic disputes. Well, he's no longer a police officer, but he brutally beat his wife and tried to choke her. He got 7 years on each account. He'll spend 14 years in jail for that. Actually kind of shocked on that sentence as well. We see so many things happen around the nation in New York and other states to where people get sentenced for what sounds, and I'm not saying that this isn't bad, larger degree where they spend so little time in jail. It's not going to be pleasant for this man headed to jail being an ex-police officer. Y'all know that as well as I do. Birmingham is where that went down. Did you see this? CNN reporting of this. Baby wipes. They seized a shipment of them, and it turned out to be $11.8 million worth of cocaine inside the baby wipes. Pretty clever. Kind of looks like it. It's white. You open it up, but they seized it. They've been caught. Somebody's going to jail. Now, if y'all remember this, I want to say so many things have been silenced to make the news as we learn about the FBI silencing different media platforms and not wanting the Hunter Biden story to get out. This came out, I remember it being talked about, that a group of politicians were bailing out criminals. Do y'all remember all that during riots and protests where they threw money into a pot to bail people out? Well, guess who was involved in that? It would be your vice president, Kamala, Miss Harris. Minnesota Belle, one of the people that they let out, that she gave to, has now been charged with murder after the fact. How does that make you feel? Is all I can say on that. As we look at more headlines, sometimes you have to read between the lines. We don't know the truth as we look at things that are going on down in Florida. Former President Trump's home, of course, was raided, as some of the media trying to point out that there's a plot that he was trying to do to conceal leaked papers that he shouldn't have had. That's the headline. We'll wait and see what it really was. We've seen so many headlines connected to this man, and each time it ends up not being what the media said it was. Russia, Russia, Russia. Never seen a man more disliked than him, than the people that don't agree with him, if that kind of makes sense there. Whew. Do y'all remember the nurse? This was in Los Angeles, who had just gotten off work. She'd been drinking, and apparently she was drinking at work. She crashed her car into a gas station, killing 6 people. Do y'all remember that? She's more or less trying to, I don't know what the word is, I guess get a lesser sentence for what she done. She's trying to say that she didn't know what she was doing, and just a couple of hours that she got nude and FaceTimed her sister. She just wasn't aware of what she was doing. She hit those folks running 90 miles an hour. It's a bad deal. They lost their life. They were just buying gas, trying to get home to their families. Today marks the day, and we'll talk more about this coming up. It's been 25 years, and it's so shocking to believe that it's been that long. Today is the day 25 years ago that Princess Diana lost her life in that tunnel. She was being chased by paparazzis. She was killed in an auto wreck. As many still believe, there's more to that story than meets the eye. And just like the JFK, we most likely will never know the rest of the story with that, will we? But could have been just a wreck, could have been more. We're not real sure on that. Morning, already 70 as we start this day and head that high toward 92. We've got your forecast next. Don't you rush off. We'll do that for you in just a moment. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as your built-in. are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. It's here, the Fall Sweet Pea Swap, located at the old Jeffries building at Bonita Lakes. Drop-offs will be held September the 8th through the 10th. The public sale gets underway September 16th and 17th from 10 in the morning until 7 at night. Then again Sunday, September the 18th from 1 until 6 with 25% off. And our final day, Monday, September the 19th with 50% off from 10 until 7 p.m. Make sure to come by the most talked about event all year, the Fall Sweet Pea Swap at the old Jeffries building, Bonita Lakes. And welcome back. If you've never watched before, welcome. You wouldn't mind share this so others will know what we do. Find out what's going on locally and a glimpse of what happens before the big 8 o'clock show each day. We begin this at 6:30. Jeff says, just proves they're scared of him, can't buy somebody. That's true. Dawn Harlan, how are you today? Doesn't pay to drink. You're right. Not to drink and drive. It's sure not good there. To Corey, good morning there. Beverly Bowen is up. Good morning. Joy Settle. A lot of folks stirring and joining us today. All right, let's get into the forecast as we looked at that. Now, the fog is to the east of us. Let's get into our forecast and find out exactly what's going to happen today. How good's the day going to be with the weather? Let's find out.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record temps on this day, it was 1951. A hot day it was, 104. A lot cooler today than that, isn't it? Now, our coolest day recorded on this day was back in 68. That would be 54 years ago. It was a cool 55 as you woke up. How time does fly. As we look at the forecast for today, this is what we've got from Meridian area. 92 in Lauderdale County. We'll even see that through all the county roads throughout Clark County and west of there into Jasper as we go north through Newton. About 91 today. We'll see that stay steady through Philadelphia. And as we get back up toward Columbus, Mississippi State, around 92. And to the south, 93 there in Hattiesburg. Let's go east and see what Alabama has to offer. Yep, we're looking at 92 sitting in Livingston, Alabama. It'll carry on over to Demopolis as well. And again, still a fog advisory for these areas at this point. We'll see some showers to the east over by Auburn, Alabama. Not big chances, but slight. But overall, looks like sunshine throughout the day there in Alabama as well as Mississippi side. That's good news. Now, this is the dense fog that we had there that's kind of burning off there. And there's a chance of this through 9 o'clock, and we're putting more heavy on the east side of this in Alabama now. Visibility could be a quarter of a mile in those areas as it kind of eases out. Now, the next thing we look at is what's happening in the next 6 to 10 days. As we see now, a little bit cooler snap. We'll look at this in just a second. And as we look at this 10-day window, this is what is on the horizon out to our west. It's coming another heat wave. Enjoy it while we got some early morning 70s and temperatures that aren't too bad. Here's your outlook. You see that little cool snap right in there, don't you? Today, we've got 91 to 92. That fog burning off, 0% chance of rain for today. That's wonderful. We need that where it can kind of dry out and we can get some grass cut, don't we? As we look to tonight, we'll get a low right around 67, a clear sky tonight. By tomorrow, sunshine returns and almost identical today, 91 to 92. Now, as we head into the weekend, things will start changing. By Friday afternoon, a little after lunchtime, we'll get showers once again. A 40% chance. Otherwise, we got sunshine for the most part of the day, but 91 for that high. Saturday, it changes all. All bets are off as we only get to a high of 84. And look at this, 80% chance of rain. The odds of you getting wet on Sunday, pretty good. 70% chance of that, and that continues through Monday and Tuesday with 70 and 60% chances of rain. Now, Labor Day, as we look at this, is going to be a wet one. It's coming, and nothing we can do about that. It's just going to be wet. Now, let's look at this, and as we jump ahead to the 15th, we're still in that 10-day window there. After this, we'll start to see temperatures rise, but in the mid-80s all the way through September the 15th. Spoke to someone the other day that said, well, not long, as when I was at the Piggly Wiggly, waiting for those temperatures to cool down as we head into October. Won't y'all be ready for that? But rain chances, still slight chances each day through the 15th there. Nothing major, but some 82-degree weather. Sounds good. All right, what's stirring out in the Gulf? Nothing yet. And let's pull this up as we watch what's going on with the National Hurricane Center. This is what we've got. Now, as we put spaghetti models to this, and we'll look at this here in just a moment as we come about, we've got an 80% chance of this. Most likely, the closer this gets to land, this is going to hook, and it's going to turn and go up the East Coast without coming in. That's what we're hoping. That's what spaghetti models at this point are figuring. This is far away. We'll watch this to see what it does. Not a lot to back that storm up just yet. As a matter of fact, let's go now and pull up radar where you can get a good look at what really goes on with this. Let's back out. We're in Honda radar. Here we go. Let you take a look at what we've got here. Let's go back over here. Here's the spaghetti models that we look. As you'll see here, as this comes in, it's going to take a hook, most likely, and go up. That's what's good. These yet aren't really portraying anything. Now we go here, and this looks like this is not going to come in either. This is going to hook as well, out on the west side, the west coast. But that's the closest that we've got there. We will have some rain moving in up and through there, but so far, no big threat to the Gulf of Mexico. Again, there's several storms that they're watching develop. We'll stay on top of this. Should it become a threat for our area, we'll get on that. We'll let you know real quickly what's happening with it. What's happening with the fishing? Go to Chet's Paint and Body this morning. Tells us a great time to hit the water today was 4 a.m. Ended at 6. I was here. Second major time will be right at lunch. Well, let's hit 10:30 to noon. Great time to be on the water and do a little fishing. The north wind 5 to 10 miles an hour this morning to let you know what's happening with the wind there. There you go. Well, that's a quick look at our weather as I get tongue-tied of where we're headed today. We've got a lot of stories coming up this morning at 8 a.m. Hope you'll come back and join us. We always love your comments and joining us and letting us know what's happening in your neighborhood. Always a lot happening, isn't it? It is. Morning to Philadelphia. Donnie Page, glad to see you up with us there. So darn Harlan, let it rain. Beth Johnson is up. Accident on Highway 15 South is what she's saying. Traffic is backed up. Now, Beth, would this be out of Philadelphia or is it out of Newton on 15? If you could tell us a little bit more about that. We'll see what we can find out and get with this. These wrecks are very dangerous. That's our first one that we've got of today. Hopefully this is not going to be anything serious. Barbara Smith, how are you this morning? We'll check into this accident on Highway 15 and see if we can get some more information on this, and we'll post that as quickly as we can. If you're in that area, keep it in mind. I just don't know the exact location of what we've got yet. Between Union and Philadelphia. So that's going to be right outside of Philadelphia. Plan on that. Maybe there's an alternative route that you can take, hopefully. 2-lane road through there, y'all know how that is. We certainly hope no serious injuries involved with this. But again, Beth, thank you so much for that information as we begin today and pass this along to everybody. Fog's clearing in Philadelphia. That's good news. We'll be back in an hour and 1 minute from now. We'll go live with the morning show. I hope you'll come back and join us as Candace comes in. We'll have a good time all together. Thank you so much for being a part of one of the fastest shows that happen. Fastest hour on television headed your way beginning at 8. Good morning.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: